All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and non-binaries, interplanetary, intergalactic, time travelers as you see fit to call yourselves. That's what I like to say. My name's Oliver, and I'm in a bunker here in Studio 72, as I like to call it. I thought that I would just present my perspectives, my independent lens, just in case there's any confusion about me being a Republican or whether I'm a Democrat, whether I'm right, left, or this paradigm that forgets about authoritarianism on the left and the right, and libertarian, civil liberty, pro civil liberties, left and right, I guess you could say. I don't use left or right. I advise you to reconsider that paradigm and that framing. But the Capitol riot, I want to present my perspectives on that. Because I can see, I'm reading, I do a lot of reading, I'm watching some videos, and I'm doing lots of reading that the Democrats' plan of attack, as well as some of these Liz Cheney type of Republicans, which are Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project was a part of the entire coup, working with the DOJ and the FBI and corrupting the FISA court with CIA in the back door of the FBI. Long story, but it's been well fleshed out after 6 years. It's been 6 years of fleshing this one out, and folks we're still not seeing eye to eye on this Russiagate hoax. Please get yourself informed. You've been duped. They duped America. We got to analyze why that happened with this duping of the fake Russiagate and see that the patterns repeat themselves. That's what we see in politics, what we see in history, it's what we see in psychology and human behavior, the behavioral sciences, if you will. Mrs. Whiskers is coming down. And so, with the Capitol riot, I framed this as an antique roadshow. You ever seen the antique roadshow? People bring in these really old things, and I kept seeing videos of the inside of these raging lunatics walking very slowly inside the red velvet ropes. Nobody ever went outside the red velvet ropes that are there for all the tours every day. Every day there's a tour at the Capitol for the public. Every day. And the tourists, they're walking like tourists. They were walking in. Some of them I frame as day drinkers. You know, day drinkers. Yeah, these are the family members at the family reunion that start drinking during the day, and by dinner time they're arguing about tater salad, and tater salad ain't good, and my tater salad's better. You know, Nana makes the best tater salad. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. That type of that's a friendly day drinker. And there's just a few of them, but we see them on video. Many of them, surprise, surprise, surprise. All right, are FBI operatives, or DOD operatives, or Oath Keepers who are actually FBI operatives, or Proud Boys. This diversity hire. FBI loves diversity hires, right? Well, so we've got the Cuban American Enrique Ingles. No. Enrique Tedros de Pacas? No, that's the World Economic Forum. Enrique. Let's call him Enrique. I think it's Tarrio, the Proud Boy leader with all this rich diversity. Turns out he's an FBI informant. Joe Biggs. I was looking, I jumped out briefly a couple years ago out to Delta Park because the Proud Boys were having a rally. And I thought, wow, you guys are out there at Delta Park? I know Delta Park real good. Went out to Delta Park, took some videos, about 40 police before going in, just waved and walked right on in there. It's kind of a crazy thing to do, but that's what we do. That's what I did. And so I get in there, and Joe Biggs is speaking. The Johnson brother, who there was two twin brothers, one was infiltrated in the left side. He ended up selling $60,000 videos to CNN during the Capitol breach. This Aaron Johnson. Then there was another Johnson, twin brothers. He was deep under cover on the right side, it appears, right? These guys, he was speaking. All these guys out at Delta Park when I went out there, did video. I gotta dig that video up because I know I didn't have a mic, but I've got Enrique. He's doing interviews with some other YouTube vloggers that he liked, and I happened to stick a camera in there, but I didn't have a mic, so you can't really hear him. It's very loud. But all those guys are turned out to be FBI informants or working with the federal government one way or another, instigating, baiting Portland, prodding Portland. All these actors that cost us millions of dollars, by the way. Millions of dollars were diverted as the Antifa BLM marriage marched and created civil unrest and revolution in the streets of Portland. Destroying small business, destroying downtown. We've never reopened. It's been 2 years. Thanks, guys. You rock. Wow. You bet. Right, lives matter. That's a whole nother argument, but we do need a congressional hearing on the 2020 riots. Don't you think? We had several months here in Portland with a lot of Democrat instigators involved, including one, Tina Kotek, who's running for governor. Tina Kotek, assistant staffer, and I've got that article here, she was arrested. And with the same group that's throwing feces at the police, rioting with the police, throwing urine balloons at the police, these type of people. I don't know exactly which one she was caught up in, but there was months and months that all the Democrats got behind and rallied and condoned, not condemned, condoned. Even Commissioner Hardesty went down to the federal courthouse, Mark Hatfield Federal Courthouse, and rooted on the acts of domestic terror to blow up federal agents and blow up the federal courthouse, Mark Hatfield. She got in on the game. There's video. Can't deny it without video. Commissioner running for re-election. Anybody but Joanne. So this Capitol riot, let me digress. I always go out on branches. Man, it's my thing. So sorry. But the Capitol riot. So they're going to do videos and live stream like a Days of Our Lives soap opera. They're going to go back to doing video streaming of whatever theater they want to stage and roll out in front of the people. Now they're forgetting all about key bits of evidence like Ray Epps. Ray Epps? Who's Ray Epps, you may ask? Ray Epps, if you don't know Ray Epps, you don't know one of the key people that prepped the breach of the Capitol. Where's Ray Epps? That's what I keep asking. My Senator Wyden from Oregon, Senator Wyden from Oregon, my senator, of course, I keep asking him. Boy, and he just can't figure it out. It's a hard question. Where's Ray Epps, Ron? Where's Ray Epps, Jeff? Merkley? You can't find Ray Epps. The FBI, DOJ, they can't find Ray Epps. And to ask him about all these videos that he was caught in telling people to breach the Capitol. We're going to breach the Capitol right there on the lawn. And that is in revolver.com. If you haven't read that, you need to read that. I'll put that in the show notes. You don't know what the hell happened. And that's the whole point of this Days of Our Capitol Lives, right? It's Days of Our Lives. So they're staging it in an attempt to smear these FBI operatives that were in Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and all these people trying to make them big bad boogeymen. Big bad boogeymen scare you just like Russians. Russians for 3 years, big bad Ruskies hacking into your Dominion voting machines is what they told you. You believed them. You still believe them. 6 years later, but you believed them. 3 years, 4 years, right there. You believe the Ruskies hacked your Dominion voting machines. Why haven't you gotten rid of Dominion voting machines? If you believe Ruskies the darkest of dark evil of access on earth, hacked the voting machines, Dominion voting machines. Why are you still using Dominion voting machines in your state, in your county? We don't in Oregon. Why are you? So you've got it's a whole nother video. But the filming of, let me regress, filming of the live streaming of the testimony. So let me see here, Washington Compost, they came in here, let me read this here, right here. This is hot off the press, because this is going to be, they're starting at 5 o'clock, and apparently they're going to do this regularly. First one fires off tonight. The bite 5 o'clock, East Coast time, which is 8 o'clock. So, the bipartisan House Select Committee examining former President Donald Trump's drive to stay in power and the insurrection on January 6, 2021, that marked its climax, holds the first in a series, many more coming, of public hearings at 8 p.m. So it's 8 p.m., 5 o'clock here. They're 3 hours. I know, I'm a brain. For a year, the committee labored in secret, right? A year, conducting thousands of interviews in secret. This secret Capitol Police, like a Stasi for Speaker Pelosi. That's what she envisions, this Capitol Police. Little branches all over the country that report to her leadership or their shadow cabinet leadership. For a year, the committee labored in secret, conducting thousands of interviews and gathering 140,000 documents. Where's the documents? They must be in that secret vault with all the video footage. Why not release the video footage? All of it. Why would you keep all that hidden like you have? Release it all. It shows everything. It shows about 24 people in black coming in before everyone else and walking slowly, not running, not graffitiing, not antique roadshow, not day drinking at the family reunion. That's what it looked like to me, except for a few day drinkers. And those moments were what were captured on the video. The truth of the matter is that's not where the million people came there. That million people came there in peace. A million MAGA patriots came there in peace. All of this is to overshadow a million people coming there in peace. In peace. You had these operatives that clearly were from different groups. I'm not even saying they were aligned with Patriot or MAGA groups. I don't even think that the bulk of them, a lot of them were FBI, but a bulk of them were actually on the left side. Actually on the left side. We see that from Aaron Johnson, the twin brothers. Aaron Johnson sold his video footage to CNN at $60,000 videos. I think there was 2. 120,000. He's Antifa. He's Antifa. He's BLM. He's left. Whatever left means. It means authoritarian, totalitarian is what it means, but that's another video. No, that's this video. They're right there on the front lawn, boss. The initial hearing will focus on the violence unleashed on January 6th, the day Congress met to certify the results of the Electoral College. It will feature live testimony. Ooh, very, very dramatic. I bet you there'll be an officer crying. Larry, you gotta have police officers crying. They did last time, Larry. Congress met to certify the results of the Electoral College. It will feature live testimony from documentary filmmaker Nick Quested, who was he was undercover. He's working undercover with a right-wing extremist group, the Proud Boys, which was infiltrated and controlled by FBI operatives as their leadership. Ooh, Washington Post left that part out. During the attack, and from Capitol Police Officer Carolyn Edwards. So they're going to have another testimony. Capitol Police, Carolyn Edwards. I can guarantee she's going to cry. She's going to cry all through the testimony. Who was injured when the pro-Trump stormed past barricades and breached the Capitol building? So she was scared. She was scared real good. It was scary. It was scary. You know who it was scary? It was scary to the peaceful protesters who were killed. The only people that died there were killed by the police. Either the Capitol Police or some other undercover guy, I'm forgetting his name, he actually became exposed. Capitol Police connected. There was a rumor he was Pence's personal security. I'm not sure if that's true. I think some of them came out into the House galley to arms drawn, I think. But, so there's a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors that's happening here trying to manipulate it. I think it's going to backfire. As an independent, I'm providing my independent perspectives. I think what they're trying to do, making this into something more dramatic than just an antique roadshow gone sideways with some day drinking family members that ruined the whole family reunion. They're fighting on the front lawn over tater salad. And then the police come in, the police get in the middle of a tater salad fight. Really important fact. Really important fact. Who did this disruption and chaos help? Didn't help Trump. They're trying to say Trump did this, hang on to power. No. What they were doing peacefully on the inside with Cruz and a couple of other, it was Chip Roy, it was a couple of other peaceful operatives on the inside, representatives, were using their constitutional rights. People don't know this, and they're not going to talk about this. There's a constitutional process to challenge the electorals in a state. They were challenging legally, peacefully. They didn't want anything happening out front. Officers getting hurt, officers being punched, glass windows being broken hurt their peaceful case. As the attorneys, Ted Cruz argued in front of the Supreme Court, the guy knows how to make an argument pretty good, regardless of his fancy haircut and his fancy vacations during a Texas crisis. Don't hold that all against him. He can make an argument, and he was making arguments, peaceful arguments. That's what you do to avoid civil war. Peaceful arguments in front of court, which they had been denied. It was denial, denial, denial of an actual legitimate process of challenging the electoral votes, whether it was Dominion voting machines. Democrats said for 3 years, 4 years now, 6, Dad, but 3 years they said Russians hacked the Dominion voting machines and flipped the election away from Clinton, who clearly had won it in 2016, and Trump was in bed with Russia, who sabotaged the Dominion voting machines. For 3 years, Blue Anon piped that into your brain and you believed it. Some of you actually believe that today as I'm saying it. You're like, well, what's wrong with that, Larry? I don't know, Cindy. I thought that's what happened. No, it didn't happen. People around Hillary are going to jail because it didn't happen. They fabricated it. They lied. CIA in the FBI's back door framed Carter Page. He's a CIA asset dicking around in Russia undercover. They used Carter Page, destroyed him, made him look like a target. They threatened his life. He's CIA. CIA Carter Page. They used his name to present it in front of the FISA judges 18 times. 18 times. Not one time, not oopsie daisy, not whoop whoop. 18 different times they jammed Carter Page's fabricated alliances with Russia in to get search warrants through FISA, which is where all this developed from. Lies in a FISA court. That's how deep this goes. And none of that's going to be discussed here tonight. None of that's going to be presented by the Democrats. You're going to have people posing as victims that were caught in the crossfire, just like hundreds, if not thousands, of patriot Trump supporters or Republicans and conservatives. Many of those people weren't even Trump supporters anymore. What I mean is, they had lost faith in Trump. They've lost faith in the system because he's not doing enough. Like, for example, declaring martial law. One of the stupidest, most ridiculous ideas that was kicked around on the inside of late 2020 by the Trump people, the Trump inner circle, including Lieutenant General Flynn, which compounds the case that Flynn is not who he says he is or he's doing what he said he's doing. Wearing a wire, for example, because they threatened to throw his son into prison unless he wore a wire. How long was Lieutenant General Flynn wearing a wire around Trump? And he's saying we need medical martial law. These generals around him are saying we need medical martial law is kind of a term I twisted, but they want to say we need to declare martial law and seize control of the election. Number one stupidest thing you ever could have done. Why would anybody advise him to do that unless they were sabotaging and setting him up? Trump was set up with those fucks. Why? Because if they're going to do it, then the left is going to do it. When the left does this corruption and violation of our constitutional rights or authoritarian moves that may even be constitutional, when you behave like that, the other side will behave like that with a reaction, with the opposing action at a different time. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, and what's good is going to shoot us in the middle. It's going to kill us in the middle, caught in the crossfire. Jokers to the left, clowns to the right. Here I am. We're caught in the middle with each other. And some of that happened down on the grass of the lawn, but that myth needs to be really hammered and busted on. That Trump wanted this type of action to happen. This was all a part of some military coup. How many weapons did you see down there from MAGA supporters? Not very many, if any. They didn't come in with guns. If you want to see when Civil War escalates to the point where we have storming patriots, you're going to know. You're going to see it. When they're in a building, you're going to see it. You're going to know. If they want to take out a building, it's gone. You're not going to see it. It's going to be gone. Okay? That's just what happens. If they wanted the Capitol building gone, it would have been leveled. They didn't do that. They didn't want that. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. I never wanted that. This entire time, for years, but really since 2016, I have argued for peace somewhere in the middle. There's common ground. Stop. First I thought it was the right advancing, and then I realized this back and forth, and then the left became the dominant bully, threatening patriots' wives, threatening to kill patriots' wives, threatening to kill patriots. It became literally a cold civil war here in Portland, Oregon, with Vancouver and Clark County right across. Here's the Columbia River. It was north and south. The Columbia River was the DMZ. It's just right across, back and forth with visits. People were killed. People were shot. Patriots were killed for wearing a hat that says Patriot Prayer. Killed a kid here in Portland, downtown, young man, because he had prayer on his hat, a religious prayer on his hat. That's sick shit. That's sick shit. And we're seeing that now because the Dems tolerated that. This is now escalating now to where they're threatening to kill justices. They're threatening to kill the President Biden in a motorcade. Now they're trying to make the woman a victim as she's storming the motorcade, ready to possibly assassinate the president. I mean, these leftist women have lost their minds. The leftists in general. You know, even the biological men that are calling themselves women, the women have lost their mind. It's a feminist movement. It's the feminist movement. So collectively have lost your minds. It's your framing and your words, not mine. So we got to de-escalate this situation. Stop threatening Supreme Court justice. Stop advancing us to civil war, hot war. Because the culture war has been going for years. Obvious, Dad. Obvious. It's Cold War, culture war. Cold War, social war. For the most part, it's been hot in some cases. The argument could be made there. So let me play this 1 second here from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And the American taxpayers pay for this. There's surveillance cameras all over this building. If we really want to know the truth about January 6th, it's real easy. All we have to do is release the video footage, and everyone can see for themselves what exactly happened. And I think the American people deserve that.
All the footage.
While they have to watch and go through this big cinematic production tonight and carrying on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and the American people pay for it, by the way. The American people deserve to see all the video surveillance, not just the little cut and pasted pieces that the January 6th committee is going to show to.
That's great. It's a 9-minute speech. I'll tack that on there. Please review. I love her style, whether you like her or not, man. She is fiery, alpha female, and knows how to get her point across. Now, she might piss you off. She might piss you off. In fact, people have been threatening to kill her. So people threatened to kill Tim Pool because he was simply interviewing her as an indie journalist on his show. They got evacuated again last night. I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but a dozen times people are threatening to kill Tim Pool, an indie journalist, because they don't like what he's saying, his freedom of speech. This left authoritarian, totalitarian is way uncool. Very uncool, dude. It's unhinged. It has to stop. That's the fueling instigation for civil war. Not boogeymen, not patriots, not the Antique Roadshow. It's not those guys. Those guys you should try to buddy up with. They're the ones that are way chilled out. Because the guys that aren't chilled, you haven't met them. They're out there. And they're ready. We don't want to instigate anything. It's de-escalation time. It's diplomacy. No civil war. So keep that in mind. What is the motives of what they're doing here with this live streaming victims? Why have they left out Ray Epps? Where is Ray Epps? You got to see the videos in that Revolver article. It'll blow your mind. It's got video of Ray Epps live the night before telling everybody what his plan is and what their plan is needs to be to breach the Capitol over and over. And then the day of, he's removing the fencing that says you can't cross. People are asking, like, well, why did all those Trumpers run right up through there? Because the signs have all been removed by Ray Epps and his cronies. A couple of other guys on video in the Revolver story. You want to find out what happens, not this charade theatrical. Use your own eyes. Read that Revolver. Look at the videos, clips embedded in the Revolver.com article. All right? I think that's enough. It's too long, Dad. All right. Peace out.